Chief Platform Officer is a role that's really a hybrid of product and technology, but works across the organization. So in my role, I have a particular focus on what we call our API strategy and our marketplace platform, and that's really how we integrate in third-party services from across the market into Starling Bank. The role of Chief Platform Officer is new to banking, but it's not new to technology. So I previously worked in Zero out of San Francisco, and we had a Chief Platform Officer there. It was common from other tech companies like Shopify or Netflix. But in banking, it wasn't seen, I think, until I arrived and had that role. Probably the closest would be a Chief Technology Officer or Chief Product Officer, but those are still very tech-centric roles as well, and are newer to banking. So I would say, as banks begin to kind of start innovating and really looking at moving into digital and building out the kind of executive suite that mirrors that, that's not a banking background but a tech background as well, they'll probably have more of these similar roles. For banks to stay competitive, they will need to become tech companies. They will need to think like tech companies. The types of advancements we've seen in technology, for example, from APIs even, that have now become very common in consumer technology has been yet to see in banking. But now we're seeing this evolution within the financial technology ecosystem, both from the providers that are manifesting as well as from regulation that's really looking to support competition and innovation, really starting to push technology in banking. And what we've seen is that banks had been reasonably good with keeping up with technological change until the financial crisis. And then naturally what happened was their focus shifted to the new regulation and fines being imposed, and innovation just dropped to the bottom of the priority list. But yet we saw at that same time some of the most transformative innovations coming to market. So the iPhone launched, and then we have Uber and WhatsApp and Airbnb and all these amazing consumer technology companies. And they've really shifted the expectations for consumers around what's possible, particularly in terms of user experience, how easy or intuitive or seamless an application is. And so now for banks to keep up, it means that they're now going to have those similar easy user experiences that consumers would expect from like a Google or Amazon or Facebook. So for Starling, we very much were setting out to build a bank from scratch, but not only innovating on the technology, but innovating on the user experience. And what that can enable you to do as well is once you have this new technology, this new experience, like we're a mobile-only bank, then you can have a different business model. So then instead of building out all of the complementary financial services that a traditional bank would offer, mortgages, insurance, savings and investments, we can instead integrate these third parties. And so that's a very different business model from traditional banks. So for traditional banks to react and to stay competitive, they need this new technology, but they'll also have to evolve their business model. And what that might mean is disrupting their own revenue streams in the short term, but that's really to stay competitive long term.